Hello and welcome to this Talent Pathways presentation on the relative age effect, where we will investigate exactly what it is, exploring if it is an issue and the solutions to combat it. As stated by Figueiredo, the relative age effect is a well-established phenomenon in a wide range of elite team sports. So what exactly is the relative age effect? According to Bozděch and Zháněl, the theory is based on the premise that athletes born in the first quartile have a significant probability of high level of physiological, morphological and psychological abilities compared to later born athletes. The words first quartile refers to the first months of when a child was born in their age grouping. For example, if the age groupings were based upon the calendar year, a child born from January to March would be classified as the first quartile. Again, if it was based upon the calendar year, the second quartile child would be born from April to June, with the third quartile child born in July to September and the fourth quartile child born in October to December. To give an example of the relative age effect, if an athlete born in January was competing against an athlete born in December, the January athlete will almost have a year's worth of extra development and growth compared to the December born athlete, which increases their chances of succeeding and outperforming the December athlete. Essentially, being relatively older within a sport allows the potential for developing athletes to demonstrate a performance advantage at earlier identification points, which is from the ideas of Musk and Grondin. The problem for those born in the later quartiles is at the end of the day, sport is a business and is seen to be a money-making machine, and with so much at stake, coaches within talent development academies who are employing the athletes are looking for instant results, and therefore the time for development within an athlete can often be disregarded, as the athletes who have superior physicality take centre stage. This comes from the ideas of Safranios, as they say, due to the cultural prominence of sports in certain parts of the world and associated pressures coaches are imposed to select the biggest and strongest athletes. To understand whether if the relative age effect is a problem, I delved into J.V.A.P's 2020 study of women's youth handball, which examined if there was a relationship between the relative age effect and the final classification of teams, players' positions and number of goals scored in the 2018 Women's Youth Handball Championships. Well, the results showed that there was a greater representation of older players, i.e. those born in the first quartiles, within teams ranked from 1st to 8th place. The results also indicated that women from players quartile 1, which is those born in January to March, tend to play more games and more time per game. These results support the relative age effect theory, as those born within the first quartile are deemed to be more morphological and physically more developed than the rest, which aligns with Bozděch and Zháněl's definition of this theory. The relative age effect theory is also common within UK Rugby League, as shown by Chapman's 2008 report. The report was based on testing if the relative age effect was apparent within UK Rugby League from the under-7s age group right up until senior level. The results of the test concluded that in junior representation selections, 47% of regional and 55% of national representation players were born in quartile 1, with the relative age effect increasing with performance level. This is an alarming advantage, as it shows those who were born in the later quartiles are massively disadvantaged. This could also align with the Matthew effect, designed by Rosensal and Jacobson, as they suggest those who benefit from the relative age effect get access to better coaching, better equipment, better facilities, which consequently results in those born in later quartiles are never really given an equal opportunity. Now that it has been presented as an issue within sport, how exactly can we combat the relative age effect? I delved into Kelly's 2010 research of birthday banding being used to moderate the relative age effect, which used a case study within the English squash talent pathway. English squash implemented birthday banding 7 years ago as a strategy in its talent pathway, whereby young athletes move up to their next age group on their birthday, with the aim to remove particular selection time points and fixed chronological bandings, rather than using the academic calendar year for age groupings, in the hope that there is an equal opportunity for all players to be selected during the entire selection year. There was a growing concern within other racket sports such as badminton, table tennis and tennis, as well as squash, as there was consistent findings of an overrepresentation of players born in the first half of the year compared to their later born age group equivalents at youth level. So did Kelly's 2010 research promote birthday banding as a solution? Yes. The findings revealed that there was no observed relative age effects within English squash talent pathway across all cohorts, showing this can be a successful method to combat the relative age effect. The benefits of birthday banding is that this approach can more accurately capture the dynamic nature of athletes' developmental needs, which may change throughout the course of a competitive season. In addition, one of the potential advantages of birthday banding approach is that it may remove the effects of selection bias, providing a more equal opportunity for all quartiles. However, there is an argument from Fuentes and Nunes that initially experienced maturity disadvantaged people in major sports can have a second chance to emerge in professional sports, as they will have already prepared a skill set in order to combat being smaller. This is known as age reversal. This is also supported by the ideas of Cobley and Baker, as they suggest that the relative age effect in effect is reduced in senior elite level sport. Further evidence was provided by Molina 2005, as they suggest that at the senior level, relatively older players once selected for a squad had no advantage over relatively younger players. This shows that those younger players who manage to keep up with the rest can eliminate the relative age effect theory. From a coach's perspective, it's very easy to jump straight away to those who have gone through puberty first and are more physically developed. However, coaches should not disregard those who are more underdeveloped, as they might possess greater technical ability and have more intelligence which they can apply to their sport, as there has been phenomenal examples of athletes who have succeeded that are born in quartile 4, such as Tyson Fury, Alan Shearer and rugby player Jason Robinson. We might blame the relative age effect theory for relatively younger athletes missing out, but we could also highlight the limitation in coaches' knowledge around identifying talent, as the biggest and strongest kids will not always be the most resilient or demonstrate leadership characteristics, which is why as coaches we need to consider more account for later quartile athletes.